Welcome to Course 12 of Course 2 in Saxon Math. Today we're going to talk about some more problem solving, this time by comparing and talking a little bit about elapsed time problems. We're going to write those word problems. We're going to figure out elapsed time and use 4 steps in order to do that. And we're going to write those as word problems and solve them as word problems. We have no vocabulary again, so just review those words that you're already learning. So problems about comparing often ask questions that contain words like how much greater or how much less something is than something else. The number that describes how much greater or how much less is called the difference. We find the difference by subtracting the lesser number from the greater number, and here is the formula. Greater minus lesser equals difference. If I have 10 of something and I subtract 5 of it, we get the difference, which is 5. I think we all know this. This should be review for everybody. But sometimes when we see it in a word problem, it becomes a little bit confusing, and we have to stop and think, what is it that they're exactly asking us? So during the day, 1,320 employees work at the toy factory. At night, only 897 employees work there. So how would you figure out how many employees work at the factory during the day compared to that, how many work there at night? Go ahead and pause this and see if you can come up with the answer. First thing we understand is that this is a how many more question, or how many fewer. It's a comparison problem. We use the greater, lesser, difference formula. So in this case here, the greater number is the 1,320 employees. So we use that. We start with that first, and we subtract from that the lesser number, which is the amount of employees that work at night. By doing that, we should come up with employees that work there during the daytime. And when we do that, that's what we get. We come up with 423 employees, and that is our answer for example number 1. Example number 2 asks us the number 620,000 is how much less than 1 million? Work that, please, and then restart the video and see how you did. The word how much less indicates that this is going to be a comparison problem. It also indicates that it's going to be a subtraction problem. So we're going to use our greater minus lesser equals our answer. In this case here, the difference. In this case here, we got 1 million minus 620,000 equals 380,000. Elapsed time is not a whole lot different. It's just that we work with time instead of with numbers. So in this case here, we have 2 points that we're going to deal with, and they're on an array. So in this case here, it's an earlier date and a later date, and we do this all the time for people's birthdays, find out how old people are or how many years have passed. In the example here, we got a person's age is an example of elapsed time. Your age is the time that has elapsed since you were born. So if you take today's date, and while we're making this particular video right now, we've got 2014 minus whenever you were born would tell us how old you are. So again, we're using the later minus earlier equals difference instead of using larger minus fewer or smaller equals difference. So let's practice a few of these. How many years were there from 1492 to 1776? Always assume that we're talking about AD and we're not talking about any BC dates unless indicated otherwise. So in this example, calculate how many years fell between the year 1776 and the year 1492. All right. You should have recognized this elapsed time problem and known that you need to subtract. So we take the larger of the two, or in this case here, the later date, which is 1776, and we're going to subtract the earlier date of 1492 to come up with the difference or the answer to our problem. In this case here, it is 284 years, and the way we verify that's right is we take the 1492, the earlier date, add to that the 284 to see if we come back up to the year 1776, our current date. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was 34 years old in 1963 when he delivered his I Have a Dream speech. So what year was he born? Let's do this one together. I'm going to take than 1963, which is the later date. And in this case here, if he was 34 years old in 1963, I'm going to subtract that. So I'm going to take my 196, make it 195, make that a 13, make that a 9. 5 minus 3 is 2. So I get 1929. So my guess here is that Mr. King was born in 1929. I can verify that by taking 1929 and adding to it the 34 years. 13, carry my 1, 5, 6, carry nothing. So 1963, is that what I started out with? Yep. So I know that 1929 should be my correct answer. Let's see if it is. Sure enough, there it is, 1929. Very good. Hopefully you're able to do that too ahead of me as I went and did that fairly slowly for you. We have no practice set here, so you don't have to do any additional work. Just do your tickets in the door, which are these numbers here. Send them to me tonight, and we will work on the written practice tonight or tomorrow in class. Bring your questions with you at that time. Thank you.